Hey, welcome back, guys. This is another episode of True Believers.
True Believers.
This is we're doing something a little different with this one. We're kind of
Social issues.
social issues. Yes, it's
Yeah.
important.
Now, for most of us, or some of us that have been following what's been going on at DC, a couple of, the people writing the Batwoman have left DC because DC would not allow them, allow Batwoman to to marry her lover. And they left on those terms. And I think there were some other issues why they left, some other creative differences they were having with DC, so they just up and left. And that's kind of been, there's been a lot of gay or homosexual news in the comic book world as of this last year or two with, Earth 2 featuring the Green Lantern having a homosexual lover. And then in the astonishing X-Men number 51, is it North Star? North Star is getting married to his
Hunky boyfriend.
Hunky boyfriend.
I don't know.
I'm trying really hard to be PC to watch myself.
It's really hard.
Yeah, but I think it's just something that we should bring up and discuss a little bit because I think it's important. Why are they censoring? Why is DC censoring a gay marriage?
What was their? They had some sort of reason, or they gave some sort of response why they were...
I think the response was, and I'll read it here, and this just kind of happened, so I'm sorry I'm not speaking wisely about it, but I do my best. This is what I'm going to read for verbatim here. I think it's from Dan Dido. Yes. It's from Dan Dido.
Dan Dido?
Dan Dido is I don't know his exact title, but he's up pretty high in the DC comic book. So and he's been around
for a long time.
Yeah, for a long time. Here's what he wrote in response to why they censored it. It started off with, "They put on a cape and cowl for a reason. They're committed to defending others at the sacrifice of all their own personal instincts. That's something we reinforce. If you look at every one of the characters in the Batman family, their personal lives kind of suck. Tim Drake, Barbara Gordon, and Kathy Kane. It's wonderful that they try to establish personal lives, but it's also just as important that they put aside as they know what they are accomplishing as the hero takes precedent over everything else. That is our mandate. That is our edict. That is our stand with our characters." So,
that sounds like hogwash, honestly. They're saying, well, superhero should never be happy, blah, blah, blah. It's like, in the 90s, maybe it was in the 90s, Superman and Lois Lane got married.
Yeah, what?
You go to Marvel. You go to Marvel and Spider-Man and Mary Jane got married in the 80s, and that was pretty big. And yeah, over the decades, they really didn't know how to work with that, but, that's why you write something new later. I mean, this could have been a really interesting story.
Yeah, and I think you have to have good to know what bad is.
Yeah.
And that's something important because even in the Earth 2 one, which I actually purchased, and we can look at, Green Lantern is shown here. I think he proposes to his boyfriend, and then he dies. So that's how DC gets around that happening. Yeah.
Well, and they could have, as far as Batwoman getting married, you could have had a lot of interesting stories with that. I mean, you look at Death in the Family and yes, I know Batman and Robin were not married, but it was a tragic death. I mean, they could have worked that in somehow, or they could have just, I don't know, something.
I think it's...
Or they could have even brought up, well, why don't we do this? Why don't we... And this might be getting a little too political for them, but, why don't they try to get married, but Gotham, it's illegal in Gotham or something, something interesting.
The governor is the villain in this one.
Yeah. But the whole idea of, superheroes just can't be happy. That's not really working for me. I don't buy it.
You can't have all of the characters be Batman.
Yeah.
We know Batman's miserable. Why can't Superman have a good life, or even Batwoman? And it's just...
So what's the deal with this Earth 2 thing? Because I don't know anything about it.
I tried to keep up with it, and it's just... But, I mean, it's easy to keep up with, but money-wise, I can't afford to buy all of them. But it just looks like everyone in Earth 2 is just figuring out their powers, and, you know, everyone's just a little bit different. You know, there's a Green Lantern, there's a guy that can run fast.
Who does the art?
Looks like a Nicola Scott or a Trevor Scott.
I don't know, but
yeah, it's
really
decent
good.
art. Yeah, it's a decent comic book.
I might actually get that.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's good. It's a good story. In this one, it looks like, you know, we kind of find out there's a Flash character in Earth 2, and it looks like Green Lantern. Who's the first Green Lantern? What's his name?
Alan Scott.
Alan Scott is the Green Lantern in this one, who just also happens to be gay.
So is Alan Scott in the Earth 1?
See, that's a good question.
New 52. It's getting confusing.
You lost me.
Sorry.
No.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
See, there were a lot of jokes. Is like, you know, they made Alan Scott the Green Lantern gay in Earth 2 because it doesn't count.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter. Yeah,
it's Earth 2.
That's another good point. Yeah, like, who cares? It's Earth 2, and who cares? It's the Green Lantern no one likes.
Yeah, I don't live in that Earth.
I don't want to live in that Earth.
But it looks like, you know, he proposes to his boyfriend. There's a good kissing scene here, which is very graphic. No, it's fine. I mean, we see it all the time in comic books.
It's love.
It's love. That's all it is. It's love. And then towards the end, there's a tragic train wreck, and it looks like his fiance. Well, he holds out a ring, entices him a little bit, and then boom!
Wow.
So.
Yep.
And the Green Lantern lives.
Wow. So I wonder if gay marriage is actually legal in Earth 2.
From what I'm seeing here, no.
No.
Or bad things happen when you propose and then stuff blows up.
Yeah, what sort of message does that send? Like, like, this is why you don't want to be gay.
Oh, it's awful.
I think they're trying.
They're trying, and they failed. And because then I brought, for about the same time, the Astonishing X-Men number 51, Marvel just completely embraces gay marriage.
You know, and that's the thing. Marvel, even back in the 60s, Marvel was always more on top of, like, social issues than DC. Like, DC's always been a little bit more, and I'm surprised that they still are. Like, they've always been a little bit more conservative on, so, like, because, you know, Marvel had the first black superheroes, whereas for a while DC was still not drawing black characters in the panel. So, I mean, it is weird how 50 years later, Marvel is still doing a better job at social issues than DC. Now, if only their stories were better, because their stories are awful.
DC is the old great-grandpa that grew up during the Depression.
Yeah, that's true.
In this one, you know, the cover is, and the thing I brought up to you before we started this was, you know, I never see Puck in anything. And he is in the front row of this wedding. And, you know, in the back, you got, you know, Iceman and, well, no, Wolverine's up front. I guess you got to put a couple up front. But
some of these, I mean, there's Sasquatch and Storm and Beast, but some of these I don't know who they are.
Well, I think
there's a lot of
these, like, two are
this
dude's parents.
Oh, I thought that was Michelle Barack Obama.
He said that. I was like, well, his boyfriend's black, so
I didn't even think about that. I guess non-mutants can.
Oops.
Whatever. I was like, who are they?
But Puck's right up front. I'm guessing because I can say this because I'm Mexican. If Mexicans know there's a wedding, there's gonna be food there, and we'll show up. We'll show up. We won't bring a present, but we'll show up.
That's right.
That's right.
You do that to all of our friends' weddings.
That's
you
right.
Show up, no present, but you eat the food, and then you leave.
Thank you. and I might do the dollar dance. I don't know. But we go to the wedding here. You know, there's rings. It's, you know, North Star, I'm sorry, by the way, is the character that's gay.
Yeah, and see, he's from an X-Men spinoff called... what was it, Alpha Flight? Is that what he's in?
I think you're right.
And
that's
I
why
that's
Sasquatch
where, like,
there.
Sasquatch and
it
was Puck in Alpha Flight?
Yeah. Okay.
Like,
that makes sense because they're Canadian.
Kind of a
aren't
loser
they?
character and a loser team. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But
And
still,
when this all came out, I think this all came out at the same time. Why not pick a character that's going to shock everyone that is gay? You know what I mean? Why? I mean, I understand why they would pick a lesser known because I imagine if you picked Superman or Batman,
Northstar
that
has
would
been
freak
gay
people
for
out.
decades.
Okay, see,
Like,
I didn't
he
know
was
that.
gay back in the 80s, at least. Maybe even probably not 70s.
Ah.
Or maybe 90s. Who knows? I don't know. But I know when I was a kid, I was like, Northstar is gay? And then I said, who is Northstar?
Who is this?
So he's been gay for a long time.
Okay.
But yeah, you know, still, like, you are noticing they're not like they Batman
Spider-Man.
needs to just not Spider-Man.
Okay, I knew that would bug you.
Batman needs to just come out. I'm sorry. People get violently angry with me when I say, "Oh, the gayest superhero is Batman," and they get mad, and it's like, dude, all the signs are there. I'm sorry. I like Batman, and
he's in good shape.
Cares? If he did come out of the closet, he'd probably be a lot happier. It wouldn't be
That's
so
why
dark
he's so
and moody.
Yeah. Brooding. But this comic book is just, it kind of goes through.
Now, is this mostly just about the wedding, or is there like an action?
There's some backstory and stuff, and I won't read it all. You go out and buy your own damn comic. James, I'll let you borrow this one if you want. But it gets to the wedding day, and I mean, it's just a beautiful. I mean, there's some drama going on in the background.
No,
of course.
Beast is the ordained minister. I mean, I think that, like, honestly, it's like, are you guys out of X-Men? Like, why would Beast be an ordained minister?
I don't
Doesn't make
know.
sense.
But in
He's
this
a
one,
scientist.
Iceman is making an archway out of ice for them to walk down.
Oh, that's nice. When it melts, then they can die.
And in this one, which is funny, it looks like Iceman is making ice for somebody to put in his glass.
That is funny. Like, that is actually a pretty cool power.
Yeah. Here you go. You'll never have warm drinks with me around. Everyone's there. All the X-Men, it looks like. I don't see... Well, no. Yeah.
Probably not Gambit.
Yeah.
He doesn't agree with this. No, I'm kidding.
Not my God.
Gambit probably agrees with that.
No, he's there. I saw him
is
he's on the front
okay,
cover
okay.
somewhere.
Oh.
There's a lot of people I don't know in the front row, though.
Yeah. Probably a lot of Alpha Flight and probably a lot of new characters.
Alpha Flight. And then it's just... I'm not going to say what I want to say, but it's just too beautiful. It's just too beautiful.
It's a little too beautiful.
Because they say their I
flying.
do's, and then someone elevates them, and here we are together. You ready for this? Yeah, mostly. Jerk, you love it. It's like, it's like I don't care, but man, it's just too.
I will say this. Like, I think what they're doing is great. But Spider-Man and Mary Jane's wedding was not this beautiful.
No. I think we're using the right word, is beautiful. There's white roses everywhere. Every single character, like, on the ground below them is smiling and happy, and they're kissing. And also, we're forgetting this big part. It's a mixed couple.
That's right. Yeah, not only are they gay, but they're also interracial.
Yes.
So... I don't think this magazine was actually sold in Alabama. I think they were just like, don't bother selling it here.
No, we don't want it.
But yeah, I mean, this is, that is the great thing about what's the deal is Storm and Wolverine.
I thought they were like behind what happens at a wedding.
Yeah,
but
they're kind of going at it.
Well, above
is that Storm?
It has to be.
Oh my God, she's married to Black Panther. That harlot.
You hussy. Well, if I was Black Panther, I'd look at Wolverine and go, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
I can't stop you. And then something happens to Wolverine at the end.
No one really knows.
I didn't bother buying the old one. I just kind of bought it to... at the end here...
It's pretty neat.
Yeah. Here's something interesting. Looking to tie the knot in NYC... 10 tips on getting married in New York. So that's at the end. So that's nice.
That is nice.
And it gives you 10 little tips on how to get married there, which I will not read.
Yeah, don't. One thing I do want to show, and we changed the cover of this. Actually, we put on our Facebook, so you can look at it and be happy. But
it's a happy picture.
It really is. Although there is one thing that I do find offensive about it. If you look towards the upper, and you've got the two guys, they're getting married, they're holding hands, it looks beautiful. But up here, if you look up in the upper left corner, you'll notice Iceman has made an ice sheet, which first off, Iceman, I know people like him, but his powers make no sense.
Yeah.
Okay, if he were just shooting ice or making things cold, it would be cool. But he rides this ice sheet around, which not only, it's like defying the laws of gravity to an extreme. Like,
Yeah.
there comes a point when, and I know these are just stupid characters, but there comes a point when, like, I can't even suspend my disbelief for that. And Iceman is that point. You wouldn't think so unless you actually think about his powers. They make no goddamn sense. Well, right here, so he could see better, he's made this ice sheet. And first off, I don't know how that thing is, like, supporting itself to begin with. It looks like it's just floating. And he's, like, right over everyone. And if you've noticed, no one is wearing a jacket. So this is not cold weather. It's
hot.
Probably summertime.
The sun's shining.
Yes, and there are sun rays hitting the goddamn ice sheet, which means in a few minutes it's going to melt and he's going to kill half the X-Men. Good job, Iceman.
Bravo, sir. Bravo.
So I find that offensive.
I do. Not the two men holding hands.
No, no, Iceman's disregard for the safety of the other X-Men. That's offensive.
I hope he burns in hell.
I do too. Burns in hell by Human Torch, who's way cooler. Now I have a friend who's like best X-Men characters, Iceman. Like, he won't stop, and I'm like, he's like, you know who my favorite is? I'm like, I know, it's Iceman. You've been telling me this since you were 15. Can you shut up?
Why couldn't Iceman be gay?
I don't know.
I'm just saying that in case he's listening to make him mad.
I don't know. Yeah, that's another one. He dated Polaris for a while.
Ew.
Who I think is Magneto's daughter. They have the same powers. I don't know if they ever.
That are stupid. No, I don't know.
Yeah. So.
But we brought that up just because these guys left because they didn't feel like they were getting that they were being censored, which I don't blame them. I mean, you're making a comic book. You look at some of these comic books recently. I mean, they killed Robin, who was 12 years old. They've shot Catwoman in the head. They've done. There's awful things in these comic books, but if someone wants to profess love to another person, no.
It's a really weird. It's just a really weird mindset,
right?
Like, it's okay to kill and be violent, but
kill a 12-year-old kid. But when you have two women that want to profess their love to each other, it's just that crosses the line.
Yeah,
not on my comic book.
Like, yeah, I mean, I agree with you 100%. That is really stupid.
And it's just, who's it going to hurt, really? I mean, because these comic books aren't really geared for kids anymore.
No, they're not, and they need to understand that.
Yeah.
Actually, Marvel did this doesn't even compare, but I'll bring it up anyway. Marvel, they don't allow any characters to smoke anymore. Like, Wolverine can't smoke anymore, even though Wolverine's lungs will be fine.
Yeah.
But what's nice about that is, in my mind, he's like, well, I guess I better be a good example for these X-Men kids. But, and that's kind of nice in a way. But on the other hand, because, smoking's bad and it's addictive. It's awful.
Right.
But on the other hand, though, like, it still feels like censorship to me when you have a character like Punisher who can just blow someone's head off.
Right.
But smoking, good God.
Yeah. I mean, then you have these villains that come down and just, like, Darkseid blows up half of New York or whatever. And
now the Marvel no smoking thing does not compare to this, because I can at least understand why they do that.
But it's censorship.
It's a good idea.
No, I understand.
It's still, like, it'd be one thing if they said, let's not have. I don't know. And I mean, that stuff doesn't really matter because smoking's gross.
They make Batman pro-choice or whatever, or pro-life.
Did they make Batman pro-choice?
He's got that sticker on the Batmobile on the back.
What?
No.
He's got the sticker with the cry abortions hurt women. It's on the Batmobile.
It's on the Batmobile.
That's great. Do you know of any other?
Well, I mean, doing a little bit of research. I mean, this isn't something that's new. This is just something I think that's new. Than like people are leaving because they're. I mean, these guys were signed on to do a lot more mags.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a lot more characters that are gay. That there's been weddings. I mean, I think I even came across an Archie comic book where there was a gay marriage in there, and the guy was not only were they gay, but he was black and he was in the army. So there's a lot more to it than just this. I mean, it's been like you said, North Star has been gay since the 80s. I don't know what you said. I wasn't since the 30s, and but I just think it's sad that it's these guys. If you look at this comic book, this is a beautiful comic book, and the story's good. I mean, it's hauntingly beautiful. The art in it is just crazy. Yeah. Oh, and I forgot to mention, not everyone is happy with the marriage happening between North Star and his lover. I can't remember. I think his name's Kyle. Apparently Warbird. So right there, who cares? Doesn't comes up to him and says, "Hey, come here. So what's up? It's not a. I hope there's not another decor emergency. I can only take so many of those." And then North Star very seriously says, "I will not be attending your wedding." And then he gives her a look. And why is that? For me to attend would be a lie. A lie, he says. I do not recognize the validity, I can't, well, you get it, of the ceremony vows. I take no joy in saying this. I respect you, but this is how I feel. And then North Star very nicely opens his hand and says, "Please stay." And she just turns around and says, "I'm sorry."
Wow.
Well, look what she's wearing.
I know.
I don't want
she's
you
like
at my
dressed
wedding.
Like a goddamn stripper.
I guess and Vegas needs you. And then later on, his sister even kind of asks him, you can usually...
His sister's also a superhero.
Yeah, Aurora.
Yeah.
And she also asks him, she tells him it's not too late to back out, and he gets pissed and flies off. And...
this is actually really good. I wish I would have read this.
And then later on, there's a moment in the background where Puck and Havoc are having a drink at the bar. And Puck actually has a line in this.
Wow. Hey, remember Puck?
I'm the only dumbass in my outfit. Everyone else is dressed up. I think he
got the big P.
Yeah. Well, if you look at it, he actually in North Star, I guess some people just don't get it. You got to dress up to these things. But I also think it helps to know who people are in the comic book because we never see Puck. And
I do like how he's like that one jerk who shows up in a wedding in a freaking wife beater.
Yeah.
With the big P.
Classy.
Yeah.
He's been to a lot of weddings. Well, I bet he did it so they wouldn't mistake him for the help.
Probably.
But he says to Havoc, and the only way I know this is Havoc because Havoc is not. He says his name. He's not dressed up.
Yeah.
But he says, Puck says, "I'm a progressive guy, but it takes a lot to take in, huh?" And then Havoc says, "I don't know. I mean, I'm happy for North Star and Kyle, but I can't stop thinking about what my grandma would say about all this." So even right there, there's people there that still think it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Even though they're in a huge group of mutants.
Yeah, I know.
This is the weirdest thing you've seen? I don't think so. There's a guy made of ice making an archway 5 feet from you.
And they're like, "This is pretty weird." I don't know.
I don't know. I got an invitation to the freak show, so I thought I'd show up. What do you mean, all the mutants? No, the gay marriage. Freak show.
Freak show. That's funny. Even Lockheed the Dragon is at the
I
wedding,
don't get
by the way.
this.
Like the dragon just... But, man, this is kind of weird. I don't know about this.
There's a huge Sasquatch. over there. They missed an opportunity here. They could have put a bow tie on Sasquatch.
Yeah, they totally could have.
That
You know
would've
what's
made it
weird?
nice.
Sasquatch is not a mutant.
Oh.
He was a scientist who turned into a Sasquatch.
Sounds like a ripoff of Swamp Thing.
Yes. Which, here's the weird part. Speaking of Swamp Thing, did you know that Swamp Thing actually came after Man Thing?
Oh.
Man Thing is actually, and that's like the best thing ever to me, is that Marvel couldn't even think of Swamp Thing, and they come up with Man Thing.
Man Thing.
DC's like, really? Really? Because he's from the... Okay, fuck it. Swamp Thing. Here you go, Alan Moore, right.
And Swamp Thing is so much better than Man Thing.
Yeah. Well, you know how they do, like...
You guys bring this... Every time we talk about Man Thing...
I'm sorry, but it's so funny. I'll bring it up forever. Like, they always do... Marvel always, like, once a year, they'll have an annual, and sometimes it's called Giant Size. Like, Giant-Sized Amazing Spider-Man, Giant-Sized Fantastic Four. Yes... There is a giant-sized Man Thing.
You and Schaefer always laugh at that.
It's pretty goddamn funny.
Like they couldn't think of a way around it. Like, oh, crap. It just popped up one day. Damn it.
It just popped up.
God dang it.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. You know, the thing about X-Men is they have... I mean, they've been a metaphor for a lot of stuff, but they have been a metaphor for, like, homosexuality, too. I think at least since, like, 1980 or whenever that was, when they made the God Loves Man Kills, God Loves Man Kills, the graphic novel, which I think was, like, 1980. Like, I mean, that one is definitely a clear... metaphor for like gay rights and the way people view gays and that sort of thing. But even the movie, you know, X-Men 2, there's that part where Iceman goes home and comes out to his parents for being a mutant.
Yeah, and they didn't like that.
Everyone points out to what the mom says, which is, couldn't you just try not being a mutant? And while that's funny, no one remembers this next part, which I think is way funnier. When Pyro says, tells the dad, actually, the mutant gene is carried by the father. So you did this, which I imagine that's Bryan Singer saying, "Yeah, Dad."
Bryan Singer's a mutant? No.
Yeah, he's a mutant. A couple other gay characters. Mystique is bisexual.
Yeah, you remember
which
that.
is different than gay.
Yeah.
But she had a lesbian relationship with another mutant named Destiny.
Sound like dancers to me.
They do. They're strippers. Mystique and Destiny.
Warbird.
Sexy ladies. Here comes Mystique and Destiny.
Storm.
Tip the ladies. Yes, Storm.
Rogue. But it's just something I thought we should talk about and bring up. And
I think so. Yeah,
I think it's
agree.
important. And, you know, out of all the places, like, to try to, I don't know, bury this or not talk about it, comic books, which I think is a place for, you know, people that feel like an outcast or feel like, you know, they don't have anyone to go to. They can at least hide in a comic book or, you know, escape in a comic book. And, you know, I imagine there's some teenage girl or some girl that was reading this just because she was gay and fell in love with the story. And now, you know, I feel bad because this creative team went this direction and then they left and dumped it because DC wouldn't let that. I think that's going to hurt. You know, for me, I wasn't reading it, but I can imagine how these people feel. Like if you're really into a story and following it, knew where it was going to maybe end up, and then this team dumped it because DC wouldn't let them go where they wanted it to. I'd be very disappointed. I'd probably stop reading DC.
Yeah, you know, I mean, you really brought up a good point. Yeah, I mean, can you imagine like a girl trying to relate to that? And then saying, no, your way is wrong.
Exactly. That's why people read these comic books, is because they relate to these characters. It's a nice escape from reality. And, the one place you should be able to escape, you can't. I mean, there's still censorship there.
And anyone who says, I know a lot of people say, well, really, I just don't care. And it's like, well, that's nice.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm sure there are people who do care, and this was important.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the fact of the matter is, these comics have always been, they've always been kind of at least a reflection of what's, just like any form of pop culture, at least a reflection of what's going on in the world.
All right.
And
Well, they take place pretty much during our time.
yeah.
Each one, and I think it's kind of sad, and I'm disappointed in DC that they went this way.
What was the thing with Orson Scott Card? Is he?
Yeah, we forgot to bring him up. He's writing a Superman comic book, and you know a little bit more about him than I.
Yeah, he wrote a book called Ender's Game, which is going to be a movie soon with Harrison Ford and Ben Kingsley. The thing is, he's also written a lot of really crazy reports on anti-gay, like really out there stuff. Like, say, like, I wish, I don't have any quotes with me, like, but just kind of look up Orson Scott Card. They're really nuts, and he doesn't just do anti-gay. Like, I think he's, well, I'm not going to say anything because I actually don't know it. I might be making the next part up, but a lot of his stuff is just really, it's one thing if you don't.
Well, it weirded a lot of people out when DC hired him to write.
Yeah.
I think it's the Adventures of Superman.
Yeah.
For the New 52. That freaked a lot of people out, and some people, at least on the internet, thought that they were going, the gay, doing the gay storyline to help balance that out, and then they go and, stop a marriage.
Yeah.
To do that, and I think that just,
Well, and he's got that movie coming out with all those, which might be a big, maybe DC. I don't know. The whole thing seems a little weird.
It's weird. Yeah. I'm not going to say I know what DC's doing, but because I don't. But I mean, I would suggest I still pick up Batwoman.
Mm-hmm.
The first, I think it goes up to 23. It's a really good comic. I've read.
I
haven't collected them, but I've read a few of them, and it's a good storyline.
Mm-hmm.
The art in it is really good.
Yeah.
And it's especially the first, at least from what I remember, the first few are just creepy.
I wish I would have read, like, this one. I bought this one just to kind of do. I bought issue 23 just to kind of go with the show, and it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, DC really dropped the ball on this. I think they really fucked
they've
up.
got a really good creative team on most of their comic books.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I keep hanging with it. And
and then they do something like that.
They're not messing with Batman. That's all I care. No, Batwoman.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a lesser character, so who gives a fuck?
Yeah, let him. You never know where it's gonna go. So
okay, but
we should. I think. Does it have mail?
I thought it did.
You lied to me.
Okay, sorry about that. I thought there was mail in it.
Oops.
Must have been high when I bought it. Yeah, there's mail.
This mail's rad.
Well, that's actually a shame. I wish there was mail so I could kind of.
I've noticed that most of the New 52 don't have mail in it.
Yeah.
So, which
I
would be
guess,
cool if they did.
I guess they think that internet comments are good enough.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
nice. We do. What we can do is I've got some response to what people have been responding to on the internet to some of the stories that have been posted, and we can go through some of those, which I think we'll go with it and kind of keep with the seriousness of the issue.
Are they from real people or
no? They're from real
freaks?
people. There's some people in here.
Okay.
I'll go through this first one. It says it's a picture. It's a meme. Is that what they're called? Meme.
What website is this?
This is from. Why would you ask me that?
I'm sorry.
Jerk. No. While I was doing some research, where is it? And then Rob Bricken.
Oh, that would be Rob Bricken. That's his article?
think
This would be
so.
IO9 then.
IO9, okay.
Yeah, he used to do a website called
Yeah,
what's
it's
it called
IO9. I know.
Topless Robot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he used to do that, and then he moved to IO9.
Okay.
I don't know who does Topless Robot now, but I hear he's pretty good too. I haven't really followed it in the past year, but I hear he's good too.
I barely have time to do this podcast.
I know.
No. Well, I'll do this first one. I'll just describe it. It says, meanwhile, over at Marvel, and then it goes to an office setting, and there's people in ties laughing. And this is his response. This is the explanation of why Batwoman can't get married is nonsense. And this is what the comments are under the article.
You know, going back real quick, I don't know if that's in this article, but I did read somewhere where DC actually said that, let's see, DC actually, like, patted themselves on the back or something for what they're doing, and it's like, yeah, Marvel let their characters get married. I mean, way to...
What's funny is I don't think it's a big deal that they get married. Even though we're talking about it, I think it's a bigger deal that they didn't let them get married.
Kidding.
Yeah,
no kidding.
They let them get married, the world would have still turned. Yeah. They'd still be selling comics. So go ahead and read there's a next one down there.
This one?
I think so.
A similar thing is happening between Xbox and... Maybe we shouldn't read these.
Go down. Sorry,
Internet comments are crazy people.
Okay, here we go. Read this one. This one I think is more topical.
Okay. Oh, right there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Is it really that big of a deal? The wedding marriage happens on panel? I can think of several instances of major events happening off panel at Marvel that drastically changed characters and were never addressed on panel. Does anyone remember the 6-month gap in the X-Men? No. I don't read DC comics, but there have to be instance where not everything was shown in print. Can't the characters just be happily married and get on with their daily lives? Have comics always shown every marriage that has been mentioned? And that's from
somebody.
Yeah.
Sorry, we didn't. Our hearts are in the right place.
No, it is good to look into the comments section, though. I mean,
yeah.
What do you think of his response? Like, on the one hand, I agree that like it shouldn't be a big deal, but on the other hand, it's like, why not just put it on panel?
Yeah.
So I mean, it could be halfway agree with that.
Why couldn't crime happen during the wedding? You know, get creative with it. You know, I have to admit, you know, a wedding. To me, I'm not going to buy a wedding thing.
No.
The only reason
you did.
I did because
it was the gay wedding X-Men.
I knew this was going to happen. We were going to do this. I don't think it's fun because weddings are boring for me. But I think they had a plan for why that wedding was going to happen.
Yeah.
And that'll lead to other things.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I haven't read Astonishing X-Men 52 but I imagine something happened probably to him and something bad happened. So.
Or nothing happened because North Star is barely a character and they just disappeared again.
We went off into the cosmos. We've got one more here. They haven't shown every marriage, but they haven't not shown every marriage. I hope you guys caught that. If they say no more marriage panels at all for the next forever, that's one thing, but they're not. And given DC's modus operandi these days, I'm finding it really difficult to give them the benefit of the doubt. So that's what that person said. Snippety snaps. So, and you know, these go on. And then there's this one. This is in about another article. This is in reaction to. Oh no, this is the same one. This person writes, am I the only one who's still stuck back on there's a Batwoman? Why is there a Batwoman? Don't get me wrong, from what I've read, DC is full of crap and deserves a good kick in the nuts, but I'm still kind of baffled by the existence of the character.
Don't buy it if you don't like it.
Exactly.
Maybe somebody else likes it.
Yeah.
I hate people like that. Like, why would you even do this? It's something I'm not interested in.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you.
Oh,
Did I just drop the F-bomb?
fart.
Fart you.
Fart you. I'm going to replace the F word with shampoo. Shampoo you.
We need to find a really good sound effect to censor us whenever we drop the F-bomb.
Wonder Twin Powers activate.
Or we could make that
the Batman.
Oh, that would be good. We can also, there's that sound effect it's like, I think they use it for the Wonder Twins. It's on all those old cartoons, like 70s.
Yeah,
that weird.
I do like that.
We'll have to
find it. We'll have to find it.
We need to find it.
Okay. I think I cut this one off when I printed it off, but I'll read what I have here.
Okay.
The idea of appealing to a younger comic book buying demographic is absurd. DC had a Nielsen survey conducted at the start of their new 52 initiative. The results showed that 70% of their readers were the same ones they always had. They picked up a whopping 5% new readers. Only 2% of their total readership are under the age of 18. That's, there's just a little bit. As troubling as those numbers are for the continued existence of the medium, DC needs to acknowledge who their readers are. And that's where it cuts off.
I do believe that. I don't think kids read comics. I think they play video games.
I think you're right.
I think they play video games, and I think they get on the internet and get in trouble.
When I go
and cyberbully.
Exactly. Well, when I go Wednesdays, and granted I go during the day, it's all guys my age.
Yeah, it's all
and
adults.
older.
It's all adults.
Because we're the ones with the money.
Yeah.
So, and I remember when I was a kid, I wasn't buying all this stuff.
Yeah, I had some comics when I was a kid, but it was.
Most kids aren't going to go out and get a comic book because they read, there's a Green Lantern's going to kiss his boyfriend, but I did. But just 'cause I'm a weird collector like that. But, kids. I don't think most kids are plugged into this right now.
No, I don't think kids know how to read anymore. and
I can't read.
I think they just know how to yell racial slurs at each other while playing Call of Duty. You ever played Call of Duty? Those kids are awful.
No, I haven't. That's why.
One of my favorite things, one time I was playing, I don't know what I did, but I pissed some kid off somehow, and this 10-year-old yells at me and goes, "What are you, inbred?" I was like, "Yeah, I guess so."
How dare you, sir?
So I got called inbred by a 10-year-old, and then I was like, maybe I shouldn't play this game.
After we talked about this, I would like to start welcoming, people that do listen, your feedback.
Yeah.
On our Facebook, or if you're listening to this on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, we'd like to get your feedback.
Yeah, please.
Negative or positive.
Mm-hmm.
We won't post the negative ones, but we will.
Honestly, this is a forum. This should be a forum for discussion.
Right.
This is something that people need to hear each other's side and talk about this.
Exactly. Because when you think about it, you're going to pick up the comic books you want. Like that Batwoman one, if they wouldn't have made a big deal about it, because sometimes I do go on the internet and look at stuff. The only way I knew about that was happening in there is because I saw it on the internet.
Yeah, and honestly, if you hadn't have told me about it, I wouldn't have bought Batwoman. And now that I'm looking at it, it's like, man, this looks good. I kind of want to read some of the older ones.
Yeah.
But it's just not a character that I would have been interested in.
Exactly. And I think it kind of works on two ways, where DC did get some negative plug for it, but now I would hope that people would go look at it and see what the fuss is about, and then realize that the art's good, the story's good.
And they messed up.
Yeah, we screwed up. Hopefully they'll get these guys back, because I might start picking them up. And like the other thing is, I only know what's going on in the comics that I get, and then every
Mhm.
once in a while I'll see somebody making a fuss about something else, and that's when I'll get my interest piqued and I'll go check it out.
Yeah. It seems like there was something else I bought because of that. I wish, good for Marvel for doing the right thing, but seriously, you guys' stories suck. I don't know. Actually, this X-Men story was really good. Like at first I just thought, oh, wedding, boring, but like hearing how half his teammates don't agree
They're
with
like,
his
"Ew,
lifestyle, and
I don't know about this.
that's actually a pretty good story. So maybe it's just Spider-Man that sucks, and I just hate all Marvel because of that.
Did you did you take a blast to the face from somebody when we were fighting them, or are you okay? We have fun on this show.
We do. We have
Yeah.
lots of fun.
So I'm glad everyone listened. Hopefully, I would like to get some feedback to see what people think. I think my main question is if would you stop collecting a comic book if they turned your character gay, or even me, I think I would stop collecting a comic book if the two writers that I liked left.
Yeah.
I think that would affect my decision on picking it up more than anything, because right now I'm picking up Batman every week, and that's Capullo and Scott Snyder that are doing that. And I think if they were to drop it, I think I'd probably stop picking it up.
How are those good?
I like them. They're going through a year one type thing right now, which is pretty good. But it's Villains Month in September, and so it was a Joker one shot and something else. So I'm still we're to the point to see where it's going.
It's kind of funny. I don't know why, but I haven't really read a whole lot of the Batman or Superman stuff.
I haven't read any Superman.
I've just been reading the more off the wall ones, like All Star Western and Aquaman and Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Flash. I don't know if I read Flash. Never mind.
Flash is starting to interest me for some reason. So we'll
Oh, you told me about Flashpoint. I still need to watch that.
Oh,
because
I didn't bring it with me.
I can't remember.
I'll bring it.
I think I read part of the Flashpoint storyline. I read part of it. I didn't finish it, but it was pretty good.
Yeah, I'll have to give you that, and then I don't know why we're talking about.
Why are we? Oh, and be sure to let me borrow.
Sorry, everyone. This is the only time we get to hang out, so
I know.
It's weird.
I know.
Gosh. Well, tune in next time when we talk about personal stuff. And
next week on True Believers. So, you want to get some Sonic after this?
Well, hopefully we're supposed to have a showdown on Reggie's Take with somebody.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping to do one with Sean over at Free Lunch.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to do that for a while.
Yeah. Now I've got a lot more free
freaks
time
me
now.
out.
So
Okay.
did you just say Sean freaks you?
Freaks me out. I think he's
You've
freaky.
known him for a long time, haven't you?
Yeah.
You've known him since high school, right?
Yeah, I think my sophomore year. So he's a good guy.
He is.
So.
He is. Yeah, I guess, is there anything else?
I'm good.
Yeah.
So.
I think this was a really good show.
Thank you. It was a really good show.
Thanks a lot, guys. Maybe on the next one, we'll do something a little bit funnier. We just want to do I feel like every now and then you got to talk about something like this. I think is a little bit more important than who would win a fight between Ultron and Vision, like on our last one.
God, we're nerds.
Yeah. But I think this is...
it's nice to be topical every once in a while. I think it was something we saw and we wanted to do it, and I'm glad we did.
I'm glad too.
So.
Well, anyway, have a good day.
We need to work on our closings.
We really do. We're not good at that at all. I'll see y'all later.